Taiwan admits U.S. troops are now stationed on islands off the coast of China amid fears the region will spark World War III.
Taiwan Defense Minister Chiu Kuo-cheng appeared to admit U.S. Special Forces are training the Taiwanese military for a potential conflict if correct. U.S. troops would be stationed on coastal islands far closer to mainland China than to Taiwan in an escalation of America's presence in the region. Chinese President Xi Jinping has repeatedly said he intends to reunify Taiwan with China, while the U.S. has vowed to support Taiwan in any potential invasion. Taiwan's defense minister appeared to accidentally admit that U.S. troops have been stationed off the coast of China, in what would be a startling escalation of hostilities in the region. It is believed that if the defense chief, Chiu Kuo-cheng, was correct, the U.S. military would be training Taiwanese forces on small islands close to mainland China, including Kinmen Island. If U.S. troops are stationed on Kinmen, it would mark a dramatic increase in America's presence in the region. Kinmen Island is over 100 miles from Taiwan's main island, but just 3 miles from China's coastal city of Xiamen. The apparent admission came after a report by SOFREP that claimed U.S. Special Forces have already been deployed to the coastal islands, with it previously believed that limited troops were only deployed to Taiwan. This exchange is for mutual observation, to identify the problems we have, figure out how to improve and to recognize their strengths so we can learn from them, Chiu said in response to a question on the report. The U.S. has consistently said that it would support Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion, which Chinese President Xi reportedly warned President Biden that he intended to carry out when they held a landmark summit in San Francisco last year. When asked by the Wall Street Journal this week to clarify Chiu's remarks, a Pentagon spokesman said he wouldn't comment on specific operations. Our commitment to Taiwan is rock solid and contributes to the maintenance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and within the region, Pentagon spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Marty Miners added. Coastal islands such as Kinmen are scarcely populated, and are primarily where most of Taiwan's amphibious forces are positioned, which may now be bolstered by U.S. Special Forces. Without international support, experts believe Taiwan would have little ability to combat the Chinese military might, a factor that Chiu alluded to. The defense minister said that U.S. troops stationed on coastal islands are required because Taiwan's military may have some blind spots or shortcomings. It is not clear how long U.S. Special Forces have been deployed to the coastal islands. In 2021, China reacted with fury following reports that U.S. Special Forces had already been training on Taiwan for over a year. While there, they have been focused on strengthening Taiwan's rear security, focused on preventing sabotage and enemy infiltration, according to military think tank INDSR expert Su Tsuyun, cited by the Wall Street Journal. The collaboration between Washington and Taipei is primarily focused on defense, Yu said. The apparent escalation of U.S. forces in the region comes after China has ominously stepped up its preparations for a potential invasion. In August 2022, Chinese air and sea forces crossed the median line and surrounded Taiwan's main island, before firing a barrage of missiles over the island during terrifying war games. China later boasted that the war games were preparation for an invasion, which also came at the same time then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Months prior, Taiwan's military issued handbooks to civilians on how to prepare for an invasion, including where to quickly find bomb shelters. Fears were again raised in January of this year, as Xi appeared to tactically purge his military commanders of any that may have opposed a conflict. The Chinese dictator replaced them with generals willing to go to war, and has repeatedly said that he views Taiwan as sovereign Chinese territory and the island's self-rule is a renegade government. While it is unclear how long U.S. forces may have been on Kinmen, the revelation this week also comes at a tense time for the area. A month ago, 2 Chinese fishermen died after their boat capsized while being pursued by the Taiwanese Coast Guard, which Chinese officials branded a vicious incident. In response, Beijing stepped up patrols of the coast, and Taiwan says hostile vessels continue to enter restricted waters.